Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Villa No Filler. Please remember to like and subscribe. Well, that was a game to forget, wasn't it? The second game in a row against Spurs to forget. We've actually got a very good record at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in recent years. And I think the tactical displays we've had against them the last two times we've gone there and won have been exceptional. And I think we tried to repeat that today. Uh, you know, um, Try and soak up Spurs' kind of opening thunderous press, get through it, don't concede, and then just start to take control of the game. The problem was that whilst the last two times we've gone there and beaten them by taking, absorbing that opening press and then taking control and winning it, today we actually did absorb it really well to start with, but then simply didn't take control of the game at all. It was a really poor display second half. I think first half, I think Villa came out and I don't think Spurs created a single thing really in the first half. I can't think of a single chance really. And I think Villa defensively, it reminded me a little bit of the sort of Bayern Munich game. You play against a team that can really hurt you attacking wise, that have a lot of attacking options and will press really hard and overwhelm you. But I think today Villa soaked it up very well. Didn't really give them anything, and I actually think first half, the game plan was right. I think we got the set piece, we got the goal from Morgan Rogers, great stuff. But I actually did think first half there were more opportunities for Villa to hit them on the break, and actually should have aimed to make it 2-0. Ollie Watkins had a great chance, got himself into space, just whacked it miles wide. If that goes in, again, very different game. But it just kind of felt like, like Villa's sort of game plan was working very well first half. Second half, I think the thing you need to say is, don't let Spurs into it straight away because Ange is just going to go in at half time and he's going to full gruff Aussie accent scream at bloody everybody. And the Spurs players are going to come out. They're going to be up for it. Don't concede early, and then Villa did. In fairness, it was a good overlapping run from Udogie, which sort of took Cash out the game. Like Cash had to sort of follow him. And McGinn really should probably be quicker onto Son. In fairness, Son is just a world-class player, isn't he? And Son's just going to, at some point in a game, do something that you probably can't really stop. I think Udogie's run was very good, or it was just one of them moments that sometimes you can't stop. And Brennan Johnson gets into the back post. He's been in really good form this season. Gets a goal and he gets the equaliser early on. And you're expecting Villa to react. Son comes off as well, which felt like a bit of a gift because I don't think Richarlison played very well. But the thing that was really frustrating with Villa, what we're very good at is taking control, passing it around, particularly through Yuri Tielemans. I thought Tielemans and Powell, two of our best players for passing the ball out, were pretty poor today. I think maybe the worst games we've seen from both of them this season. I think Tielemans all game. I think first half what Villa were doing a lot was we'd get into the final third and we'd take an extra touch we didn't need, or we'd try and force a pass that just wasn't on. It was just weird stuff, really, or try and win fouls that weren't going to come. That was the frustrating thing, I think, from the first half. But second half, it just felt like you're kind of expecting Villa to slowly work their way into the game, Tielemans and Powell to work their way in. And I just don't feel like either of them really did. Part of that's probably down to Spurs and how they press you, but also, I think Powell for I think it was a third goal. He gives the ball away first time, comes back to him, he's lucky, and then he gives it away again. And I mean, it basically, if you think of the second and the third goal, it was Watkins lost it in the final, trying to push into the final third, and then Spurs kind of overload us, and we just get overwhelmed by their movement. Solanke, brilliant run, and Konsa coming off. Oh, sorry, Konsa right back. Sorry, yeah, maybe he kept Solanke on side. Had Cash been there, maybe that wouldn't have happened because Cash would have been more set in his ways on the right, whereas Konsa's obviously not. He's having to adapt to a new role very quickly. And Carlos coming on, I think, I don't think that helped really. I think it was working best with Konsa and Cash there. I also think losing Rodgers was big. I think as soon as Duran came on for Watkins, it felt to me like Villa had nothing in the pockets at all, nothing in the pockets of space to link up. I feel like Duran and Watkins just doesn't work. I haven't seen anything yet. And I thought this last season when I saw them at West Ham away, when they played up front together, I thought they just don't work together. It's just is one or the other. And it felt to me a bit more like in my head, I was thinking I'd actually bring on Buendia here. I know he didn't play well against Crystal Palace the other day, but he's actually played all right in cameos this season. And I think you just need a player to link it up. And I think Duran and Watkins just aren't those players. And suddenly, when Villa were trying to link up from the back, I don't think it's probably a coincidence that when Rodgers went off, Villa conceded three because we didn't have that outlet to just hit it into in the pocket, and then he can turn and then maybe even create a chance to put Villa 2-1 up. I think Rodgers going off was a big loss, and I think on that, I think Craig Pawson as a ref, Unai Emery never complains about refs because what's the point really? But I think were I to be critical, I think first half he let way too many things go. I think Bentancur definitely should have had a booking for a tackle he put in. I think it was on Rodgers, and I think that kind of there's a difference between being fair and letting the game flow, and then just being um, encouraging other teams to therefore be a bit more aggressive. Like the tackle Romero put on Rodgers was terrible. I don't like to see players get injured, but it was slightly poetic justice given what that he went off straight after. It looked like he probably injured himself trying to hurt Rodgers. And I think there was a lot of that on Rodgers today. I just think Pawson he just let too much go first half, and I think had a yellow come out as it should have done, I think therefore players like Rodgers aren't going to get injured. Simple as that. But yeah, and then I think then it's like I said, it's probably not a coincidence that when Cash came off and Rodgers came off, that's when Villa really did just lose their flow. And I do think the lack of link-up play, I just don't think Duran and Watkins works. Maybe it will. Maybe it will one day. But for me, I just don't see it at the moment. I think it's one or the other, and you put Buendia instead of Rodgers, or you put maybe McGinn there. I just don't think it. Yeah, I don't think Duran or Watkins are really the type of players who want to come deep and take it and link up and all that. It's just not where they're at their best. So yeah, I think Spurs wise, I think they'll probably go on a decent run now. You beat losing to Palace, beat City, and then beat Villa. I guess that's the problem for Spurs at the moment is they do lose at places like Palace that you just feel they'll lose at. They'll go away next week and play, I don't know, someone like a Leicester away, or and they drew 1-1 there this season, or they'll play I don't know, like just a just a Southampton away and maybe not get a result you're expecting. They're a bit of a weird team like that, but I think that's a big day for Zielinski. I think those two goals are going to be big for him today, and I think that's a big result for Spurs. I really think they'll build on this now, and I think top five this season is hard. I think it's going to be hard, and I said this pre-season. I thought it was going to be harder this year just with the Champions League fixtures coming. But that said, Villa are a brilliant football team. Under Unai Emery, we've had a few bad results. 5-1 at Newcastle away last year, the 3-0 away at Liverpool, lost to Spurs 4-0 at Villa Park, lost 4-1 today. And the thing with Villa is it's the resilience. They always bounce back, always. And that's what we do under Unai Emery. Now, what I would say is that I think Villa this season, we're in a good position. We've had some brilliant results in the Champions League. We've had some great results in the Premier League as well. But if you look at it recently, drew with United at home, should have won it. Drew away at Ipswich, probably should have won that. Drew at home with Bournemouth, definitely shouldn't conceded that last minute equaliser, should have won that. And we beat Fulham away, lost away at Spurs. That sort of 5-game spell, that's the Fulham away win is great, but there's points there we've dropped, and a couple of them have come after Champions League midweek games. Today, and so you could look at that and think that's probably part of it. You look at today though, and you think, no, that was just a poor performance second half where we simply did not control the ball, didn't do anything passing the ball from deep. Nothing happened in the final third. It was just a poor day. second half. Whereas first half, I think Anana, Cash, and Ramsey particularly had really stood out and played an excellent game. And second half, that just wasn't to be. But like I say, I think Villa are a very resilient team, and you've got Bruges now midweek away. I think we can go and do the business, bounce back quickly. Liverpool away, then like I said, I mean, I said it in the last international break. Got another bloody international break coming now. But I said it that I looked at the sheer game volume we have going up to the end of December, and there's a lot of games. And I do wonder if it's actually going to be from about January onwards where Villa really kick on this season and reassert themselves. I just think it's a new experience for Villa. Particularly this for this team to have such a sheer volume of games playing at the intensity we're playing at, and it is an adaptation process for us to, get used to that and move on and continue as growing as a team that we are. We're a great football team. As I say, we've bounced back from bad results before, and we'll bounce back again. It's just the way it is. Sometimes you have a bad result and you move on, and that's it. Under Alex Ferguson with Man United, we had the same, they had the same thing. Think back in the day, they'd lose some games, 6-1 against City at home. Next week, they're going to beat Swansea 2-1 away. How the hell do I remember that? How the hell do I remember that about Man United? Anyway, so yeah, terrible result, but we go again. Up the mighty Villa.